Teofimo Lopez, he's not buying the Lomachenko shoulder injury excuse. He stated, and I quote, "I was coming into this fight injured as well. If you want to talk about injuries, but I didn't make no excuses about it." Lopez also added, "I think that by him doing that, as someone who was considered the pound for pound #1, the best in the world, to use that excuse is just look worse on him than anything else." Lopez also added, prior to the fight, this was actually prior to the fight, he said, once I defeat Lomachenko, quote, he's going to make every excuse after losing. Lopez told everybody that would listen before the fight that Lomachenko was going to resort to making excuses after the fight, which is exactly what he started doing. Now, when it comes to this shoulder excuse, like I said before, Lomachenko left DNA evidence at the scene of the crime before the fight, where he stated he was 100% ready. It's going to be his best performance. He's healthy, unlike any other camp. He pretty much going to have his best performance against Lopez. That's why he didn't even have a rematch clause, right? Now, like I told you guys before, after the fight, Lopez congratulated him or, told him good fight, so on and so forth. He went to his corner to show respect, and pretty much Lomachenko looked down on him. He smirked on him. Tio was like, you know what? I beat you at the end of the day. David Perez, my man, said ESPN and their hope insurance. Lopez won 9 rounds easy. Man, I appreciate the love and support. David Perez, you got to call in, my brother. And if you do call in, let me know in the comment section. But you already know when it comes to that hope insurance, it's better than Geico, because ESPN should be doing Lomachenko right now, just like they did Deontay Wilder. It's crazy because Deontay Wilder never said anything about a costume. You can't find any audio of Wilder saying anything about a costume excuse, and they mopped the floor with him. So we want the same energy by ESPN. We want them to give Lomachenko the same energy. Instead, they coming out with all these articles, forgetting the fact that Lomachenko debunked all of this. You guys don't got to come to me to make sure that's legit, if the injury is fake, so on and so forth. You guys don't have to come to me. It's not according to me. It's not according to new media. It's according to Lomachenko himself. He said he was 100% before the fight. Lomachenko, he utilized a page out of Manny PACQUIAO book, because Pacquiao, truth be told, he laid out the blueprint of the shoulder excuse when you lose a big fight. Manny PACQUIAO is the pioneer of the shoulder excuse. So Lomachenko should go over there to the Philippines and swim with Pacquiao in the Philippines in order to heal his shoulder with that salt water. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said before, we already know he came into the fight 100% healthy. Now, during the fight, we could talk about that if he want to claim he injured himself during the fight. So how is it possible that you injure yourself in the 2nd round? That means you're not going to throw punches the whole night because you injured. But he turned up and picked up the pace in the 8th round. So what happened to that shoulder injury? What happened to the shoulder excuse from round 8 moving forward? That makes no sense. Now, let's say that Lomachenko won the first 7 rounds. Then all of a sudden, in the 7th round, his punch output dropped dramatically. And once that took place, he pretty much lost the rest of the fight. Then if he said, listen, I hurt my hand, it would have made more sense. But it was the other way around. Ironically, it's the other way around. Lomachenko threw no punches for the first 7 rounds. Matter of fact, let me give y'all the stats. He landed 7 power punches, equivalence of landing 1 punch each round, right? Then in the 7th round, he landed 4 power punches. So just because he landed 3 more punches in the 7th round than he did in the 6th round, where he landed only 1 punch, don't give him the round, because Lopez was scoring more punches on Lomachenko than Lomachenko scored on him. So it was easy to score. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, it was until the 8th round Lomachenko picked up the pace, and he still nearly got knocked out in the 12th round when Lopez nearly put him out. So what I'm trying to say is, what happened to that shoulder injury in the 8th round? Because you're not going to heal. It's not like your shoulder's going to come out of socket and you're going to pop it back in socket. This ain't a UFC. His shoulder was fine all night. He didn't say nothing about it after the fight. But after the embarrassment and the fact that he got exposed as an overhyped fighter by old media and ESPN, thanks to his hope insurance, now they're trying to make every excuse in the world. Instead of giving Tio his credit, give Tio his credit where credit is due, because Tio earned the right to brag and boast because he defeated Lomachenko in an impressive fashion. They were talking about Lomachenko as this fighter on Matrix. Where was the Matrix at? Where was them angles at? Where was his skills at? Tio showed us he had more skill and he was a better skill fighter than Lomachenko, supposedly the Matrix pound for pound #1. So give credit where credit is due and give Tio his props instead of making excuses. Lomachenko's only making himself look bad by making excuses. He's not fooling nobody. You guys got to remember, when Lomachenko hurt his hand in the past, I believe it was his 3rd, 4th, or 5th fight. One of those fights. He hurt his left hand, I believe. Go back and watch that fight. What he started doing, he used his right hand, and he was still looking tremendous. I mean, he even started taking more angles on his opponent than he did prior to hurting his hand against his opponent. I didn't see him turn up like that against Lopez. So stop making excuses, make shit happen. Because like Lopez said, every fighter that goes into the ring is not 100%. I got a rotator cuff issue by shadow boxing. I didn't stretch one day and I threw an uppercut with full force and I hurt my shoulder. But I could still box with it. I never got a surgery or none of that, as long as you take care of it. Now, certain injuries are more severe than others. But my point is, for example, one of the greatest fighters of all time, Andre Ward, since 14 or 12 years old, he had this shoulder problem. And he fought for 10, 15 years with that shoulder problem. He beat every fighter in the Super 6 and won the Super 6 in a dominant fashion, all with a shoulder injury. However, he always found a way to win. He didn't find a way to make excuses. He found a way to win. When he got dropped for the first time or the second time of his career against Kovalev, he got up in the 2nd round and walked the crusher down from the 3rd round moving forward. He did not wait till the 8th round to start letting his hands go. See, I'm going to tell you the whole truth about the Lomachenko fight versus Lopez. I went back and watched the fight. The reason why Lomachenko couldn't take all them angles on Lopez is because is what Lopez was doing. He took all of that away. He will push on Lomachenko. So that will disrupt his flow. It will disrupt his rhythm. Every action, that's an equal and opposite reaction. So Lopez took the play away from Lomachenko. He took away his best weapons. He pretty much eliminated Lomachenko's favorite weapons, and he schooled the man. Lomachenko had no answers for Lopez, but Lopez had answers for Lomachenko. So they could fight 100 times. I truly believe Lopez will beat him every single time because Lopez, he's a pro fighter. The amateurs and pros is 2 completely different sports. People fail to realize that. Now, if you're a great amateur, you have very high potential to be one of the greatest pros. But still, pros and amateurs are 2 different sports. And this is a perfect example. Lomachenko got beat by Salido, a guy with like 20 losses, and a washed version of Salido. And now he got beat by Tio, a fighter who's only 23 years old, making his first title defense. So what are excuses they're going to make now? Oh, yeah, I already know the shoulder excuse, but that's debunked by Lomachenko himself. So like I said before, you guys could go back and watch Floyd Mayweather when he hurt his hand and got dropped after landing a punch because his hand hurt so much, not because he got hurt by a punch. And he got up. He went from fighting offensively to fighting defensively. Floyd Mayweather even switched southpaw on his opponent. You could tell like the flow changed in the fight. Even commentators always point out, oh man, this guy seemed like he hurt his hand because he's not using it as much. We didn't hear nothing about that from Lomachenko. Matter of fact, he wasn't using his hand because he was afraid of what's coming back because of Lopez. It was what Lopez doing more so than what Lomachenko was doing. And then in the 8th round, he turned up. So we're not buying that excuse. Lopez, he took the play away from Lomachenko. Lomachenko does all them feints. Go back to what Lopez was saying before the fight, what his dad was saying before the fight. They were saying, and they were telling everybody that would listen, at the end of the day, Lomachenko, he like hypnotized you with all the feints, and it's all smoke and mirrors. You got to ignore all that. You got to block all that. Now, that's easier said than done, because during the moment, you're going to have to react to something. But what Lopez did, he controlled range against Lomachenko. So all them feints didn't work on Lopez because he controlled range. Like Lomachenko said, he said right here, he said, getting closer was quite challenging. The size, the reach played a huge role. I apologize to everyone, to my team and all the supporters. He's telling you right there, you got to read between the lines. He's telling you what exactly he was struggling with. And Teo had a perfect game plan. They studied Lomachenko. They had every answer for Lomachenko. David Perez told you guys, you know, that Hope Insurance is better than Geico, but it ain't saving Lomachenko this time around, because Lomachenko didn't let his hands go because he was fighting Teo. Now, you bring him any other fighter he fought before, he would look even better this time around because he was 100%. But it was Teo that made the Matrix look ordinary. So old media could erase your losses. Old media could give you fake straps, promote you as fighting for undisputed, promote you as the king of boxing, but they can't fight for you. Therefore, you got to fight for yourself. The fans can't fight for you. At the end of the day, you got to fight for yourself. And that's how Lomachenko ended up getting exposed in the process. Now, he's a good fighter nevertheless, but he's not as great as old media hyped him up to be, not even a single bit.
I never show my 100% my skill, because always it was some little problem. Fight with Linares, I had a problem with my shoulder. If we remember Pedraza, it was my first fight after surgery. And Crawler, I broke my hand, but I finished this fight. Some guys finished and said no mas. Now I'm healthy, I'm ready mentally for this fight, and I want to win. It will be best fight in my pro career. I will put all my skill on the table. I think it will be a very great fight.
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the wall. I shook up the wall. I shook up the wall. I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.